welcome to Leave It on the Court. My name is Corey Randall.
My name is Mustafa.
And so for today's topic the question is G League the new trend? We know that the G League is, becoming slowly like an outlet for, players coming out of high school or even players, coming out of college or wherever to really hone their skills and be able to move up and establish a career in the NBA. So, what is your take on with the G League? If it's a new trend and why?
I do believe the G League is a new trend. G League's been it used to be the D League, but it turned into the G League. But it's been an outlet for players to develop their talent, hone their skills, and showcase their skills for teams to call them up for some years now. There's been a lot of changes as of recent, which is guys are getting paid more. You got the two-way contract where like if a guy goes undrafted, he can get signed to a two-way contract where he spends some time with the team, he spends some time with in the G League, develop his talent, and lo and behold, at some point he'll be able to play with the team and potentially maybe start or come off the bench and be a main contributor to the team. One thing to note, I really do feel like a lot of high school talent is going to take this route because, not all guys coming out of high school come from fortunate situations. Some guys really have family, where they're struggling, and with the money in play, they're going to take that money, especially if it's a direct outlet to the NBA. And they feel like, I'm playing with older guys. They're learning the systems faster. Like I think they'll get the nuances of the NBA a little quicker because a lot of the coaches run some of these things that these teams run. So it's like with the similarities, once they go in to go play, they're not, like a deer in headlights. They're kind of aware of what's going on, and they can make
Right.
proper adjustments. I don't know. What was your take on it?
Um, I think it is a new trend. I don't know. I don't know like what the immediate success is going to be off of it. For these guys that are going to be on the select team for guys coming out of high school. I think it is. The NBA has had like quite a few players come straight out of high school when they used to allow it. You had Kevin Garnett, Brandon Jennings, LeBron, Lou Williams, Darrell Wright. Um, you've had LaMelo Ball is going to be coming in the draft. So you have guys that had taken a different route than going to college. But I think what the G League is a great option for is not just top high school kids that are contemplating whether they should go to college or not, but it also is a great route, I think, instead of going overseas. Because when you go overseas, a lot of NBA teams, they're after a while they get they don't like having to send scouts to go to these different countries to go check this guy out.
Mm-hmm.
That costs money. It costs it's just a lot of time. And also, if you go play in on a team in another country and it's a different, most likely it's going to be a different playing style, it kind of doesn't help with how you're going to translate. I mean, just speaking from personal experience, when I went to Spain, the way they want you to play like as a point guard in Europe is totally different than the way you're going to play point guard here. So and you get used different. It's a different type of playing style. So going to the G League is also a great outlet to be playing more NBA style basketball, and then you're below the branch of NBA teams to really be in the home country. It's not too costly for travel to be able to see check up on players and see how they're doing. And I also think like, especially with this pandemic going on, you have the tournament that's canceled. The tournament is a huge outlet that kind of really can showcase college players. You'll see a lot of Cinderella teams. You see a lot of players from certain schools you may not have knew about, and now they get on the NBA radar. You think about in 2000, what was it, 2013 March Madness, like Shane Larkin was, when he was at University of Miami, he was projected to be like a second rounder, be undrafted. He went in the
Mhm.
tournament, played well. He ended up being a first round pick. Like that's like a big stage for players, big players, and also for, kind of under the radar players. And when it gets canceled, now that kind of can mess up guys, careers with college careers with showcasing for these NBA teams. So I think it's a great outlet. You're making a lot of money right away.
Mhm.
Like that top shooting guard Jalen Green coming out, he's going to be paying like 500,000, and that's
That's a
crazy.
lot for somebody his age. You could do a lot with money,
A lot,
tax or
a
not.
lot.
You can help your family a lot.
Mm.
What do you think about what kind of like pressure it'll put on like these programs now in the NCAA to kind of assimilate some of the NBA style offense and defense and those kind of things just to keep pace if it so happened that a lot of these top prospects end up, just all deciding to do what Jalen Green did and just go straight from high school to the G League to the NBA and go that route versus, playing for a school and going to school at the same time. What you think about that?
I think I think some I think implementing kind of more NBA style offenses I think that can help. I think nothing is going to help more than obviously being compensated because these college kids, these college athletes are a big reason why these schools become so profitable. Um,
Hmm.
but I I think creating NBA style offenses can help. There's another kid, a top kid, Troy Brown. He was offered 400,000 to go in the G League thing, and he turned it down to
Turn it
go to
down.
Texas. So I mean, you're gonna have certain players who, and especially if you see a lot of top guys going into G League, you may use that as an opportunity of a top recruit be like, oh wow, all these top kids going to G League. Why don't I go to NCAA instead, and I'll
And
be the
stand
face
out.
of everything? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna stand out. So that's another way to look at it. But what do you think?
I really there's gonna be some adjustments because the coaches, they're not the directors and they don't pay these guys. Like there's only so much they can do. For them, it's recruiting and basically, running the team. So it's like, all right, what can we do to better help, these players? Because G League is gonna have some kind of like influence on it will have a better influence on how these players grow. Because if you look at the high school coaches now, they're not as good as the way they were before. A lot of if you look at a lot of these older guys who are, like for example, like Quentin Richardson, a Dwayne Wade, guys, 2003 era, and before that, they had really good coaches even in high school.
Right,
And a lot of these kids, they don't have these great coaches. They're just in good programs where with good talent and they have the green light. And when they don't have that green light and they go play in college or they go overseas, they go play somewhere else, they're not the same. So I
right.
really think from a development standpoint, it'll have a tremendous impact. And once a guy start to see, these guys coming out of G League getting drafted and see what they become or, what kind of product they become on the floor, it's gonna have a very interesting effect on incoming prospects coming out of high school.
Definitely. And I think in college, I think it also might make the college scene like a lot more interesting because I feel like you're in college, you're gonna have a lot of guys who are gonna be decommitting or not attending these schools, and sometimes that's where you really find a diamond in the rough because you have a guy who nobody knows about. You're gonna have a whole bunch of guys who are getting the opportunity, getting playing time. Like, wow, this guy's an NBA prospect, and no NBA team was probably even looking at this guy before. But now they're getting the opportunity because you don't have all these 4 and 5 star recruits coming because they're taking these different routes. But I definitely, I don't blame any player for it because I mean, when you look at like when Brandon Jennings was coming out in like '08, he had committed to Arizona, and then he got offered a mill by a team in Italy and offered another mill by Under Armour, and it's like if you're somebody who's from poverty or lower income type of family, it's like how
Yeah.
could you turn that down?
They're gonna take that money, trust me, especially if it's not impeding on their path to the NBA.
Exactly. Yeah. If you already know, because I remember that year '08 of '08 of high school, it was the All American game was in Milwaukee. It was at like the Bradley Center, and then that's who you got drafted by. So that made a difference. But yeah, players ain't gonna turn that down. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how the NCAA does things. I don't know. Maybe they might try to give them percentage off of jersey sales or something. I don't know. They would have to do something
Yeah, they definitely.
because as of 2021, the NBA is putting it full in effect. Like there's no more one and done. So
Right.
that's gonna heavily affect guys' decision because guys don't want to stay in school. Like if they feel like I can go to the G League, I can still take classes, still do what I gotta do, and get paid legally without no issues. I don't have to deal with NCAA like 5 years into my to my contract in the NBA. Like I don't have to deal with none of that stuff, and
Hmm.
it's like it's too easy of a route. But we'll
Hmm.
see how that works because you got the two-way contracts, you got that going on. G League's growing, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, like when kids go into G League, you don't have kids getting like intimidated or anything because they're playing against grown men, bigger competition, and kind of get exposed because that could also hurt them
Yeah,
as far as their draft status. But definitely I think they're gonna work at their skills. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out.
yep.
But yeah. That wraps up this segment. Subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what your thoughts are. And yeah, you got anything?
Hey, let us know. How do you feel about this whole thing? Like, what's your take? What's your opinion? Uh, let us know. Give us feedback, and don't forget to subscribe. Take care.
Deuces.
Deuces.